Time now for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. And Al, you're joining us today from the cool air-conditioned room, but we have been experiencing some hot weather this week. What's the upcoming forecast look like?
Well, Troy, it has been hot, it has been windy, and we have finally started to see some rain break out across the state. The concern, of course, with this recent heat and high winds and the dryness issues, of course, worrying about abnormally dry conditions started to invade the state. I think it's a little bit drier than what the drought monitor is depicting, but overall, you can't argue with the trend we've seen all spring. And then with this precipitation, at least we're starting to get a little bit of opportunity to catch up on some moisture here, because as we go out farther into the season, it certainly looks like a much warmer trend is in store for us. So the precipitation we've seen here starting Wednesday afternoon in the Panhandle and working its way eastward is now going to be reinforced by some additional rainfall, and we're going to get to that right now as we go to the upper air models. As you can see, the upper air trough, which is responsible for our precipitation, is still moving through the state as we have energy rotating around that in the upper plains. Therefore, we have a surface low in southern Iowa and one also in western Nebraska. This is going to be able to consolidate precipitation across the southeastern one half of the state. And we'll see that shift through eastern Nebraska as the day progresses, drying out in western Nebraska. And by tomorrow, we see that trough trying to flatten out somewhat, but we're going to have energy running around the southern periphery of it. With a low in the southern Texas, that should push up enough energy that we'll see some scattered precipitation across portions of northern and eastern Nebraska, but they should be fairly light. And as we move into Monday, we're going to see that northwest flow as that trough deepens over the western Great Lakes. A lot of action to our east and southeast with the precipitation. Some of that may linger around eastern Nebraska, particularly in the morning hours, but overall just mainly cloudy and cooler conditions. Very comfortable, in fact. And then Tuesday, we just see that low sitting over the Great Lakes, deepening somewhat, but high pressure firmly in control over much of the central and northern plains. And one thing we'll worry about is occasional piece of energy rotating in the northwest flow, giving us a chance for scattered showers, but there's no overwhelming widespread precipitation expected. By Wednesday, we see that north of the Great Lakes, it's got a little bit warmer air to start building into the western portions of the state, may start to return to the mid to upper 80s as we go into the midweek period. Then we kind of see things flatten out, but if we look to our northwest, there's another piece of energy looking like it wants to come into the northern plains. And because we have such a broad trough, it's going to shoot some energy around that trough. So we have low pressure over northern portions of Nebraska expected to develop, generating major precipitation up in the northern plains. And then that trough rapidly sweeps toward the southeast. Low pressure along that frontal boundary forms in basically portions of Minnesota. This looks like it's going to generate a very significant severe weather outbreak for the northern plains. And some of that will probably ride southward as we get into Friday night and into Saturday across at least the eastern half of the state. So it looks like some very active weather is in store. We go even further into the future, we will see that upper air low from next Thursday to the following Tuesday looks like it's going to hold and park itself over the eastern Corn Belt, bringing a little bit more cloudiness and cooler conditions compared to the western United States, where very hot conditions will start to build with that high pressure building into the southern portions of the Rockies. And in terms of precipitation, most of the major precipitation will be carved out with that upper air trough over the eastern Corn Belt, but very dry conditions return to the southern plains, some of that pushing up toward southwestern Nebraska. So Troy, all those numerous opportunities for precipitation over this next 10-day period, and then it starts to look like it's going to turn much warmer and drier as we go into July, so we really need this moisture.